All right, lesson 9.6, we are using part of the quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So we've got if you remember, we learned that yesterday in lesson 9.5. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a part of that equation, which is called the discriminant, to find out how many roots or x-intercepts my equation will have. Now, if you remember on the last lessons that we did, chapters 9.1 to 9.4, we learned how to find the roots of the equation by solving for x. Remember that? We had something like 2x squared is equal to 50. We divided by 2. We got x squared is equal to 25. Square root, I had x is equal to positive negative 5. So I know my equation had 2 roots. All right, if I ever got the answer x equals 0, I know my equation had 1 root. If I ever got a negative number under the radical, I knew that there was no roots at all. Now, what we're going to be doing today, though, is we're looking for that same answer. We're looking for how many roots the equation has, but we cannot solve for x because there's not just an x squared in the equation. There's an x squared and an x. So what you do is you use what we call the discriminant. Now, the discriminant, I wrote down the entire quadratic formula for you, which you don't have to write down. I'm just showing you where it is. Your discriminant is b squared minus 4ac only. So this is your discriminant right here. It does not include the square root sign or the radical. It is just b squared minus 4ac. Okay? What we know is if I have a regular equation that's in standard form, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, I can use a, b, and c, plug it into the discriminant. If my answer is a positive number, there are 2 solutions. If my answer is 0, there is 1 solution. And if my answer is a negative number, there are no solutions. So it's just exactly like the ones that we did when we solved for x. If I got a positive, negative answer, it was 2. If I got a 0, it was 1. And if I got a negative number under the radical, it is no solution. Okay? So we're going to be using the discriminant to find the roots or the x-intercepts. Or sometimes they're even called the solutions to the equation. You will have to write the discriminant on your test. So it'll say, write the formula for the discriminant. And this is exactly what you would write right here. B squared minus 4ac. Okay? So let's put that into practice. Find the number of solutions, or find the x-intercepts, or find the roots. That's all saying the exact same thing. So we want to use the discriminant. Mackenzie, what is the formula for the discriminant? You just wrote it down. Perfect. B squared minus 4 times a times c. Well, let's identify a, b, and c. Charles, tell me what a, b, and c are. A is 1. B is negative 2. And c is what? 4. Very good. Okay? I'm just going to plug these into the discriminant and find my answer. So I have negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 4. What is negative 2 squared? Positive 4. Am I going to have an addition or subtraction problem? Subtraction. 4 times 1 is 4 times 4 is 16. 4 minus 16 is negative 12. Because I have a negative number, how many solutions do I have? None. Now, when you are answering these questions, I want you to box in both answers. I want you to box in the number that you found and then how many solutions. The reason why is because sometimes people say, oh, 4 minus 16 is 20 or negative 20, okay? And technically, if they would write negative 20, they should get no solutions, so that part would be right. But the math that they did was wrong, and so you would not receive full credit for it. All right, so you want to make sure you are boxing in both answers because you need to have both of them correct to get full credit. All right, let's do the next one. Haley, label A, B, and C for me.
A is 3, B is 5, and C is -1.
Perfect. A is 3, B is 5, and C is -1. All right, Seth, plug it into the equation for me. 5 squared minus
4 times 3 times -1.
Perfect. Okay, 5 squared is what, Megan?
25.
Am I going to have an addition or subtraction problem? Addition, because 2 negatives make a positive. 4 times 3 is? Times 1 is? 25 plus 12 is? So how many solutions will I have? 2. Okay. Let's label A, B, and C. Dean, label them for me.
A is -1, B is -10, C is -25.
Very good. All right, Jensen, plug them into the formula for me.
-10 squared minus 4 times -1 times -1.
Very good. All right, Tristan, solve it out for me.
10 squared is 100.
Very good.
-4 times -1 is 4 times -25 is -100.
Very good. I have a subtraction problem because there's 3 negatives. 4 times 1 is 4 times 25 is 100. 100 minus 100 is? 0. So how many solutions will I have? 1. Okay. All right. Do these on your own. All right, if you want to go ahead and check your answers, they are up. We would plug in 6 for B, 1 for A, and 3 for C in the first equation. When I do all of that math, I should get an answer of 24, which means I have 2 solutions, or 2 x-intercepts. And I know that because my answer was a positive number. The next one, when I plug everything in, I should get the answer of -4. Whenever I have a negative answer, my x-intercepts are none. And lastly, when I plug everything, I get it 0, and I should have 1 x-intercept. Now, the one thing that I want to warn you about is a lot of people, whenever they do this, when they get 0, they just automatically write none beside it because they think, oh, 0 means none. No, remember, 0 is actually one place on the graph, and it will touch the x-axis at one point, all right? So that is how we find our x-intercepts, solutions, and roots by using the discriminant, which is written right here, b squared minus 4 times a times c.